Imagine you're looking down at a major airport from an airplane window. You might think those massive strips of asphalt or concrete are just laid down wherever there's enough flat land, or maybe they just point toward the nearest big city. But every single runway on Earth points in a very specific, carefully chosen direction. They aren't just laid out to look pretty, and they certainly aren't random. In fact, the direction a runway faces is a matter of physics, aviation history, and safety. Welcome to Simple Things Surprising Histories. Today, we're looking at a massive piece of everyday infrastructure with a hidden secret. Why do airports have specific runway directions? To understand runways, we first have to understand how airplanes fly, and it is all about the wind, specifically flying into the wind. When an airplane takes off, it needs air rushing over its wings to create lift. If a plane takes off into a headwind, the wind helps the wings generate the lift they need while reducing the ground speed required for takeoff. This allows the plane to get airborne over a much shorter distance, making the whole process much safer. Landing works much the same way. A headwind reduces the airplane's ground speed while allowing it to maintain the airspeed needed for a safe approach. So, engineers don't just build runways willy-nilly. They align them as closely as practical with the prevailing winds of that location. Before a single drop of asphalt is ever poured, meteorologists study years, sometimes decades of local weather data. They use a diagram called a wind rose to find out exactly which way the wind blows most often, maximizing the chances that aircraft can take off and land into a headwind. But here is a surprising piece of history. Many early airports didn't have fixed runway directions at all. In the early days of aviation, back in the 1910s and 20s, airplanes were incredibly light. They didn't need long, rigid strips of concrete to get off the ground. Instead, early airports were often just giant, circular grass fields called aerodromes. A pilot would simply check the windsock, figure out where the breeze was coming from, and take off straight across the grass into the wind. But as the decades passed, airplanes grew larger, heavier, and faster. They increasingly needed long, smooth, durable paved surfaces that could safely support their weight in all kinds of weather. Paving a giant circle was way too expensive and took up too much space, so planners began building fixed paved runways aligned with the most favorable wind conditions. And just like that, the modern runway was born. If you look closely at a runway as you take off, you'll see giant white numbers painted at the ends, usually between 01 and 36. These aren't just labels, they represent the runway's magnetic heading, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. Multiply the number by 10 and you get the approximate heading in degrees. Runway 27 points due west at 270 degrees. Runway 09 points due east at 90 degrees. But here is the most fascinating part of all. The Earth's magnetic North Pole is constantly shifting due to molten iron moving deep inside our planet's core. As the magnetic field slowly shifts, some airports eventually have to repaint and rename their runways to match the updated magnetic heading. The concrete never moves, but the Earth's magnetic field does. So, the next time you buckle your seatbelt and speed down the tarmac, remember, you aren't just driving down a random stretch of road. You are rolling down a runway shaped by decades of local winds and guided by the Earth's ever-shifting magnetic field. Thanks for watching Simple Things Surprising Histories. If you love this little journey into the everyday, hit that like button, share this video with a curious friend, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.